Hey, College Trig. It's a nice, easy lesson compared to the last one that you saw. We're going to go back to angles and talk about a little tidbit here. We're going to introduce reference angles and coterminal angles. And the reference angles are especially easy. Reference angles is the acute angle formed by the terminal side and the x-axis. So we're actually on your worksheet. So I just build the notes right in the worksheet because they're pretty straightforward and simple. And there's really a couple type of angles that you can get, really 4 situations here. So suppose you have an angle like that, then I'm going to mark with the arc what the terminal or what the reference angle would be. So that would be the reference angle in that situation. Suppose that your angle is in the second quadrant, then that would be your reference angle. If your angle was in the third quadrant, then that would be your reference angle. And if your angle was in the fourth quadrant, then that would be your reference angle. So it's always against the x-axis. So for example, 215 degrees, you're trying to determine the reference angle. You're simply going to say that's 180 degrees, that's 215 degrees. So the reference angle in that situation is going to be that angle, and that would be 35 degrees. That's your reference angle. And so that reference angle becomes very useful as we do different types of trigonometry problems, especially in the future. If you're working in radians, list the answer in radians. If you're working in degrees, list the answer in degrees. So 5 pi over 3, is right here. This is 2 pi, or otherwise known as 6 pi over 3. So what is going to be the angle formed between 6 pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3? Just take 6 pi over 3 minus 5 pi over 3. You can see you get 1 pi over 3. So you could go ahead and do these examples. Again, if you see it listed in degrees, list your answer in degrees. If you see it listed in radians, list your answer in radians. So the second part that you want to look at is going to be coterminal angles. Coterminal angles are angles whose terminal sides are in the same position. So we'll do a basic example here. Suppose you have an angle of 140 degrees. There's an infinite number of angles that are coterminal with that 140. I'll start drawing a few for you. For example, this angle is coterminal with 140. This angle is coterminal with 140. We'll do another one here. That angle is coterminal with 140. So you can see you can go around an infinite number of times in either direction and produce that same angle. But it's going to be good practice if you can at least determine one that's positive and one that's negative. So as I sketch that position again, what we're going to do is instead of going 140, we're going to go in the opposite direction. And what you can do is you just take that 140 and you can subtract off 360. If I take 360, I subtract, I'll list it as negative, so 220, so negative 220 degrees. Negative 220. Another angle, we'll do one, I'm sorry, I switched these up. That was the negative one. Sorry. Put it over here. So again, that's my rotation, negative 220 degrees. Now, if you want to come up with the one that's positive, you're going to add 360. So we're going to show that we go around more than once. So it's 220 plus 140 plus 360. You see you get 500 degrees. So negative 220, 500, and 140 are all what we call coterminal. So if you are given an angle that's in degrees, express your answer in degrees. If you're given an angle that's in radians, express the answer in radians. So we'll do one example in radians. We've already done one in degrees. We'll do number 6 together. 5 pi over 4, you all know that that's at the 225 degree mark. Right there. So I will sketch one that's positive and one that's negative. We'll do the positive one first. I'll go around more than once. So we're going to take 5 pi over 4. And we're going to add to that 2 pi. Find common denominators, 5 pi over 4 plus 8 pi over 4. We get 13 pi over 4. So 13 pi over 4 is coterminal with 5 pi over 4. If we subtract, if we go the opposite direction, like that, you can see that you get negative 3 pi over 4. Again, as I took 5 pi over 4 and I subtract 8 pi over 4, you can see you get that negative 3 pi over 4. So 13 pi over 4 and negative 3 pi over 4 are in fact coterminal with 5 pi over 4. So just to sketch that angle, you should already know how to do that, and then just go ahead and if it's in degrees, express the answer in degrees. If it's in radians, express the answer in radians. And that's what I got for you. So nice short lesson on coterminal and reference angles. Have a great day. See you soon.